Okay, regarding my introduction part, I think Asmita covered up all. And regarding this topic, actually, it has only been a year for me, being in this field, in data science field. But like I have worked in multiple companies at a time. So, like in most of the companies where I've worked, other than the recent one, like in every companies I worked with before, or like even in some companies now I'm currently working with, I have worked in at least one project that involves stock market. I have not done the whole part, but like I got to know about I got to work in like a little bit of part in every projects related to stock market. So I thought like it was like kind of trendy, and so I chose this topic for today's webinar. So basically, there is not only a single technique or a single approach that has been used in the stock market. Recently, we are using different techniques, like from traditional machine learning approach to deep learning network, deep neural network, and then again reinforcement learning, and so on. So basically, today. Actually, I have prepared this slide targeting the type of people like I was here before, because when I was new in this field, I was so much more interested in this field, and I wanted to get into it. And I used to think that, like, I used to attend a lot of webinars and seminars thinking that they would, like, I could get the idea how to get into this field. And usually like it used to be something like people used to come with that certain topic, and then they used to like explain it. I don't mean to say that it did not help me out. It did help me to get like idea like what kind of things are going on in the real world. But like when I used to attend the webinar a year before, these days I don't really have much of time to get enrolled in it. But a year before, I basically every links that I used to get regarding the data science and then related field in LinkedIn or anywhere, I used to like attend those. And so when I knew that I have to select a topic and go through it, I wanted to actually talk about career in data science, because that was something I wanted to see, I wanted to know about a year before. So but now since it's like technical webinar, I want to talk about AI in the stock market. So basically here in this presentation, I am talking about prediction in market volatility, like how is online market or social media affecting the stock market. Just before, a few months before, the incident with Cristiano and Coca-Cola, it affected the stock market of like Coca-Cola in a very like huge manner, right? And even now, a single tweet of Elon Musk can like very greatly affect the Bitcoin market on and all these stock markets. I think so I think like I can begin with it. It will help to get like better idea like what actually is going on in this stock market and AI, how AI is being used in stock market. Okay, so basically I am going to present I don't have much of the use cases. I just have single use case, AI in stock market, right? So for this, I'm going to present like end-to-end pipeline from like how we are collecting the data, from where we are collecting the data, and then what sort of things we do in between, and then to the cloud deployment, how we take it to the cloud deployment, and so on. Okay, for a single project, I'm going to discuss about the end-to-end pipeline. So basically, for this, we have collected the data from SPX. I don't know how much of idea you have about it. We are collecting the data from SPX, and next one is from Wall Street Bait. This project is done on the historical data. We have collected the historical data from SPX, and next, okay. So we are collecting the data from Wall Street Bait for the comment section to get like what kind of comment are people putting out regarding certain topics or regarding certain companies and so on. Okay. Okay, so since this is like here, I'm going to provide the end-to-end pipeline of this project. So here I will be covering things like the approach, why we are doing this project, and what does the data tell us, like why do we need to do data visualization, and what data pre-processing, and so on. All right, and then after we will prepare a model, and then after we will evaluate our model, how well is it performing, and then after conclusion, next step and challenges, and what this is the best model. Okay, since like I can see most of you here are data scientists, uh, so like I hope you know, like firstly we work on the best model, and then after we go on to the advanced approaches, and we like just firstly we make the best model, and then after we make it like more complex if the next advanced technologies can improve our best model, right? Otherwise, if advanced model is not going to improve our model, then it is not necessary for us to directly jump into the complex architecture, right? So this is the basic model, best model for this project. So at last, I will also be discussing about what kind of advanced technologies can be used for this, and so on. Okay, so regarding the scenario, like why we are going to do like predict the market volatility, I have explained this already. We are trying to predict like how social media's contents affect the stock market, right? So that is the like approach of our project, and for this we are using two data set, JSON file and then Excel file. JSON file, it contains the comments that we have on the Reddit, Wall Street Bet Reddit, and then next one is we have Excel file where we have the historical data like OHLCV, right? I hope you have idea about OHLCV. It is the data it is the data that contains the opening price, closing price, volume, and so on of the stock market. All right, and then after like this thing I have explained already, like stock market, like a social media platform is really affecting the stock market, right? I gave the example also like regarding the Cristiano Ronaldo and Elon Musk and so on, right? So that is why we are trying to predict the market volatility, like how it is affecting, because if we can predict, like if it really affects the stock market, the social media platform, if it really affects, then we can actually improvise the content that people are putting out there in the media, social media platforms, right? So that way we can increase the stock prices of any companies and so on, right? So that is why this project is important. Okay, and then after here, like in OHLCV, in OHLCV we do not have the target variable, right? We only have like independent features. So for that we will be preparing the target variable, dependent variable on the basis of close price, and then after we are going to perform sentiment analysis over there, doing using NLP. All right, since this content is the comment section that we have imported is in JSON format, we need to do like some data cleaning and pre-processing over there using the NLP, and then after only we will be adding it on the table where we have like this historical data. All right, and then after, like why data science? Because like see, like just by looking at the comment also, like we can say that this comment is positive, and whether it is going to affect it or not, right? But like we want it to be like we want it our machine to learn, and then we want it to give us the accuracy that like whatever prediction we are making on the basis of our instinct, we want our machine to prove that. Okay, because like we get this accuracy level. All right, and then after we are going to improvise that. Okay, so that is how we are going to prove that stock all this social media market is affecting the stock market. All right, so this is the basic approach or the like pipeline that we are using for this project. I have already discussed the part regarding the data collection and data preprocessing and so on. All right. So after cleaning the data and merging the data, those JSON file and then OHRCP historical data, we are going to perform the EDA, exploratory data analysis. We are going to perform some data analysis over there, that is regarding the data visualization part. And then after we do feature selection, but see, we have here only OHRCP, only 5 features, right? So we are not going to do any other processes like PCA and so on, because feature selection is really necessary, because whenever we get the data, it is not always that we have like very few features or very few columns over there, right? We might have many columns when we are collecting the data, and we do not work on all the data that we have collected. All right. Sometimes there might be a scenario where we are getting a lot of data, a lot of columns. All right. And this the higher the dimensionality will be there, the more like our machine it won't perform well. All right. So that is why feature selection is really one of the important part in this pipeline. All right. So if all the features are important, but there are a lot of like columns, then we are going to do PCA. Otherwise, we have this a library that regarding this for that we can get from sklearn, from scikit-learn, right? So from there we can select like whatever the features are important, and from there we can use those which actually are contributing to the target variable. All right. Those which are not contributing to our target variable or dependent variable, we are not going to use that. All right. After that, we are working on like model building. We will build a model, we will train a model, and then after we will do some hyperparameter tuning by checking the accuracy level, like how well it is performing. On the basis of that, we are going to do hyperparameter tuning, and then after finally we will do performance evaluation. All right. So this is the data analysis part. I'm not going to explain all of the diagrams. I just want to see that this is how things go on, like in the real world, or like when we are learning from the tutorials in the YouTube, the scenario is different there, right? But like when we are actually starting to work, the scenario here is like quite different, right? So like that is why I was just trying to include the visualization part. Like this is the visualization that I had done for like to present it to the client. All right. So I just want to say, I just wanted to keep it here to say like this sort of things like data visualization, because I see like um, many people like do not give much of like importance to this part. All right. So like I just wanted to include that data visualization, like we study about this stuff, and we do not include in the like real life project, then I think that's not the good part. All right. So these are the few data visualization part that I had done on the project, and so I have included it over here. We can check the patterns, or like we can also check like how intercorrelated are those features with one another. All right. So we can actually do data mining, using EDA data visualization part. All right. So I'm just trying to get if I can get any patterns from here using the data visualization, matplotlib and so on. So other than that, like this is like outliers part, whenever we have like outliers in our data, then that is going to affect the affect like how the model is being built, right? There is going to be a problem like overfitting, or the model learning the wrong pattern and so on. All right. So it is always necessary to check the outliers. If we have outliers in our data, then it is always necessary to treat that data or drop that data, or like we have different techniques to deal with outliers. All right. So we can go through like anyone, but I think it is really necessary to check the outliers in our data. So like these are just the plots checking the outliers. You can see here there are a lot of outliers present here. And so yeah, and there are different techniques. So basically for me, for this project, I have used IQR using the flooring and mapping. Because when I had this data, I didn't have like a lot of rows All right, so that is why I did not drop the data, but instead like treated it with like via and via like flooring and mapping, capping. All right, so after that, I think like data distribution also, like whenever we are doing this standardization and normalization, I think it is really necessary to check the distribution of the data, what kind of distribution it has, right? Because like for the normal distributions, if it is normal distributions, then we can either go through like standardization. If it is not, then we can go through the normalization and different type of min max scaling, and what type of scaling you are going to do, right? That depends on this, the type of distribution your data has, right? So we are not directly going directly jumping into like, okay, I'm going to do min max scaling, right? You have to check like what kind of distribution your data has, and as per that you can go through the type of scaling, or like whether you want to do standardization or normalization in your data. All right, so basically these are the plots that I use to find the patterns in my data. So these are all about that. So finally, here is the modal part. um, Okay, for this, for building or training a model, I have just used a basic, since I already said that this is the base model I used for this project, right? So for this, I used a simple logistic regression. And then after using the logistic regression, I tried to predict like whether like the type of comment, like I had the JSON file, and then I performed the sentiment analysis over there, and then I merged it with the OHLCV data. All right. And for that, we created the target variable using comparing the closing price of the today's and yesterday's. All right. So from there, we got the target variable. And after that, on the basis of, I'm comparing those two, like closing price and then the type of the sentiment analysis we got on that particular day, whole day. All right, so whether that is affecting the closing price for future or not. All right, so we are trying to predict that. All right, so this is the classification problem. All right, so for that we have used logistic regression. Okay, so this here comes the like hyperparameter tuning part, and here I'm checking the accuracy, or like how well our model is performing, right? So for that we are checking just the precision, recall, F1 score, and so on. And here like I'm using the visualization plot, so like here I can understand it, right? But like for this, for the client, for I have used this visualization part as well, this diagram. So this was before the like improvement. All right, so after this like we use this hyperparameter tuning, and then after you can see here like our true positive value. All right, it is like 153. All right, so after like hyperparameter tuning, you can see the improvement in our um, true positive value. All right, and false negative value you can see here. After hyperparameter tuning, it is 13. Okay, which is less, but before it was 92. All right, so like so this is how like important hyperparameter tuning can be for our project. All right, so here is like ROC curve. Other than confusion matrix, I have also used AOC ROC curve to visualize like how well our model is performing, or how much accurate is our model. All right, you can see like this graph, right? It is very far from this point. The more closer it is to one, the more like well our model is performing, right? You can see here like it is way like quite near to like 0.8, like it is way too low. All right, but you can see after hyperparameter tuning, it has somewhat come over here like near to one. All right, so this is how important hyperparameter tuning is out for our project. All right, so yeah, like after and before hyperparameter tuning, you can see how much difference we have in our classification part, right? So I think like when we are doing a project, it is really necessary to check on the outliers, and then to check like to do scaling or standardization, whatever it is necessary, and then to do hyperparameter tuning and so on. All right, so directly jumping into the model and then checking like what kind of like how well it is performing, I think that is not good. All right, So here comes the modal deployment part. For modal deployment, for this, here I have only included the Heroku. We have used Flask and Heroku. All right, Flask for local server and then Heroku for like production label. But now, we are trying to move on to like other cloud platforms like AWS and so on. All right, so this is how we are taking the data, taking the input, and this is how we are showing the output. All right. So this was the base, and this here are the conclusions that we have got. Like whether if social media platform is really affecting the stock market or not. All right. And here we have come to the conclusion. Yes, yes. If the more positive comment you have, the more the closing price is actually is going to be. All right. So that is how we have come to the conclusion that uh, comment, whatever comment or whatever kind of content, whatever kind of like polarity or subjectivity you have got on the like social media platform, that really is going to affect the stock market, the closing price. All right. So that was all about the our best model. But other than that, here we have like different techniques that we have, like we can here we have not predicted the closing price. All right, we just checked whether the these social media platforms affect the stock market or not, and we got that yes, it does affect. Right now, after this, we can what we can do is we can actually predict the closing price. All right, we can use different models, like we can check the pattern just before also. In like here I had showed you one diagram, whether you noticed or not. This graph, see, you can see the line plot here, right? So using this line plot, you can check like what kind of trend is your data following. All right, so on the basis of that trend, you can use like different time series analysis model. All right, so on the basis of the like whatever model, like whether it has like cyclic model or like what kind of model, like seasonal model or whatever, on the basis of that you can select the like time series analysis model, and you can predict the future prices. All right, not only that, we can also use like LSTM RNN to predict the future price. All right, I have not included that here, but using LSTM RNN also we can predict the future prices, like for the next 15 days or for the next 10 days, using time series analysis or like LSTM, you can use that. All right, and other than that, that was about a neural network. And other than that, we also have used like people also have like started using like reinforcement learning for this in a stock market. All right, like I have um, this is the project I have done in Jomit. This was for like reference. So I have not actually included that in the presentation, but like I want to discuss about it a little here. Like you can give like whatever data you have collected, your historical data, you can feed to your machine, and after that you can also like define the states, like what kind of state your like data has or your environment has, right? So after that, like see, like for this regarding the like reinforcement learning, here like for this reference project, it was like a Bitcoin trading board. So for this they have used like actor critic model. What they do is like they feed the data, right? And how actor critic model is work is like whatever data you have feed over here. All right, you define the state and like what kind of state you have, and then you define the agent and all the thing that we have like different things we need to assign, like in the whenever we are working in RL project, right? So after that, what you can do is like there we have like two model, actor model and critic model. All right, so what actor does is like you take a certain action, right? You take a certain action, like firstly it studies the environment and the state, which is state it is in. All right, so what it does is like actor take the certain action, the our agent takes the certain action, right? So what happens is like it checks like whether that action is affect leading us to profit or to loss. All right. So on the basis of that, critic model is going to pass, okay, like whatever action you had taken, that is leading us to profit. All right. If it is actually leading us to profit, then this critic model is going to inform into our actor model. All right. So if it is actually leading us to profit, then actor, our next action is going to be that particular action. All right. If not, then what happens, like it does not take that action, but again rewinds back to our previous action. All right. So that is how, like, so it follows this steps on a loop. All right. And finally comes up with the solution that actually will lead us to profit. All right. So that is how our uh, actor critic model works in reinforcement learning. All right. So these are all the types of techniques that is being used in the stock market currently. All right. So yeah, basically I think this much is this is all I have got to say. So if you have any questions, then you can you can ask.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vidya ma'am, for your insights. Um, these days, I'm so much in learning the trading and the stock market and doing intern on this field. And as we know that money is everyone's interest, right? And thank you so much, ma'am, for your insight in AI in stock market. You have covered up these topic on project approach, data analysis part, and I think I'm sure that the our audience also get a lot more about the AI in stock market.